out here and keeping targets up as Ragnaros landing a 4-man Sulfurish Smash, Durance of Hate from Mephisto, and this combination executed perfectly at the end of the game.
From Alarak, make it a quad kill set up by that EC.
Wow, did you see that mosh pit? 4-man mosh pit while on a conveyor belt. That was like a regular sushi line.
Nubrag, core at 50%. Both cores are just absolutely melting. Which one's going to go down first? I think this is going to be Respect the Gooses. Oh my goodness.
Ring. Oh my goodness, the ring. Jaina just pulling up everybody here. That's a 4, make it 5
And it
for
does
nothing.
knock them all up. What a play! Oh my God! Somebody please clip that.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Nexus Gaming Series. It's the last day of the regular season, and I'm joined by a good buddy of mine. It's been a long time. How you doing tonight, Mongoose?
I am actively avoiding dad duty, so I am here and happy to be so.
Well, that's a great way to end the night, anyways, right? I mean, I guess it's not that late for you. You're out on the Pacific Coast, right?
Oh, and my night will not be over when this game is over, but I'm happy to take a break nonetheless.
Fair enough. Well, let's talk about what we got going on here. We have a match between ReGen Divine and Clouded Minds. This is a Division D West matchup. And I think you got some stuff to tell us about this, how the standings are and potential playoff implications.
Yeah, it's a competitive division. As the teams sit right now, you have Clouded Minds sitting in 2nd place, ReGen Divine sitting in 4th place. They have almost identical records. Clouded Mind has 1 extra point, courtesy of 1 extra domination. So for these teams, both of them locked into the playoffs. Both of them will be a top 4 seed, but where they slot in exactly depends on this match. Clouded Minds can finish anywhere from 1 to 4. If they pick up 3 points tonight, they're the number 1 seed. If they pick up 2 points tonight, they're the number 2 seed. If they pick up 1 point tonight, they're the number 3 seed. And if they get dominated, they're the number 4 seed.
Wow.
Right? ReGen Divine is a little bit easier. They can either be the number 2 seed or the number 4 seed and nothing else. If they win, they'll be the number 2 seed. If they lose, they'll be the number 4 seed. So my question to you, Aero, is as a team, how do you handle a match like this where you want to win? Obviously, seeding is important, but you've clinched. It's against a team that you may very likely end up seeing if you run deeper into the playoffs. How much of your hand do you really want to show?
Yeah, I mean, that kind of depends on the... I guess I'd have to look at how the brackets look, right? Because if you're in 4th position, that's 1, 2, 4. So if you're in 4th position, you're going to be going up against potentially this same team in the 2nd round, right? Because they'd be 1-8 and then 1-4 if you win those matches, if I have that correct.
Yeah, hold on. So it's always the higher seeds that you plan out. So 1-8 and then 1-4, 2-7, 2-3. Yes. So in theory, if you're the 1 seed, you would play the 4-5 winner.
Yeah. So ReGen Divine sitting here looking at this saying, okay, so potentially, you know, if we're 4th seed, we're playing against Puns Upon a Time, and if we're 1st seed, we go against Lightly Salted. But either way, that puts them, because if Clouded Minds is then in 4th, either way, they're going to play them in the 2nd round, if right. All goes according to normal standing. So, I mean, I guess it just depends on whether they want to take Puns or Lightly Salted.
Now, I've been watching D West a little bit, but looking purely at the standings, who they play could be a very make their early matchup very difficult. You know, just kind of looking at the standings, Puns Upon a Time are in the standings a couple matches ahead of the teams below them. They have a very solid 15-10 record. They're really sniffing the top 4, and after that it kind of drops off, and the 6, 7, and 8 teams all have losing records. So, you know, if that is reflected upon the difficulty of that first round matchup, maybe you want to dodge that team in the first round, and it makes you push a little harder today.
Well, and with those standings, I mean, first or fourth for both of these, very likely for both of these teams, is what they're looking for. You know, putting Clouded Minds against, I guess, you know what? Actually, now that I think about it, it's not just 1 and 4. It could be that if you get Clouded Minds to a second place, then they're in the other half. You're still fourth, but they're in the other half. So second or third place, they go to the other half. So I guess it just depends. I mean, I'm sure that if they're really concerned about their playoff pick positioning and who they play, they've probably kind of mapped this out and determined, okay, if this, then that, who do we want to play against? Do we care about, you know, facing Clouded Minds early, or do we want to face them later? But real quick here before we hop into the draft, because it's ready to go, I want to touch on these map bans. From ReGen Divine, they banned out a lot of these 2-lane maps, the Braxis Holdout, the Hanamura Temple, and then Clouded Minds, they banned out Cursed Hollow and Dragonshire. And we're going to go over here to Volskaya Foundry for game number 1.
Volskaya Foundry, a map that tends to go, I would say, slightly longer, and I would say tends to favor the team that's up a little bit. If you get up, you can kind of bully the other team off of those toys that this map is so dependent on. So I think it's really important not to fall too far behind here. You can really lose out on those extra turrets and biotics and et cetera, et cetera.
Sure. Quick shout out to Postman Pat and Tigerfish for the bits. 69 bits from Postman Pat and 333 bits from Tigerfish. Really appreciate that. We got some fun bans here. Of course, the Gazlo is early. I mean, he's just so strong these days. But we've also got that May and Maiev coming out from Clouded Minds. Do you think this next one's Diva? Never mind.
Yeah, I haven't seen quite as much of the Diva ban. She's, I think, closer to okay than she was when they first changed her. And I think the Gazlo, they did nerf him a little bit this last week, but I don't think we've had quite enough time to figure his place out. And I think it's kind of a comfort ban a little bit, just until they show you something else that maybe warrants that ban a little more. Let's just keep the Gazlo off the board.
Sure. Well, and on this map, I feel like Diva kind of gets value much the same as like an Alexstrasza gets on Infernal Shrines or here, which is that she can really provide a lot of a pause button for your enemy, because if you drop a mech explosion, you're trying to finish the channel, people gonna die if they hang out.
Yeah, and Gazlo actually stronger on this map too, where the battles tend to be, you know, a little more drawn out. His zone control and his gravel bomb wombo on the point are really valuable. So even regardless of where Gazlo is in the meta, if he's just overall first ban material right now, I think on Volskaya he's just a little bit stronger than he would be on another map anyway.
Yeah, that Gravo Bomb combo, like you can nuke his damage, drop his health, whatever. But at the end of the day, when you're getting later in especially a map like this, Volskaya Foundry, like you said, tends to go late, and a late game third Punisher team fight around level 20 ends the game in many cases. So getting that black hole upgrade, not black hole, what is it? Whatever it's called. Gravity well or something like that.
Someone will tell us.
Yeah, exactly. Twitch chat, what's the name of Gazlo's upgrade? I can't remember the name of it. But Stukov and Jaina both really strong here as well, so not a big surprise to see them banned out. What do you think about this Decker Johanna?
Always solid. You know, Bankai plays a really good May, so that ban doesn't at all surprise me. And what I think earlier, kind of answering my own question, is I think what we're going to see from both of these teams is them pick their strong, kind of traditional picks, but we're not going to see any pocket strats. I do think they're going to keep something in their back pocket, so they're going to kind of play their strong meat and potatoes, traditional heroes, but they're going to hold their you know, secret sauce to the playoffs, if you will.
I think Ektar's got a miniature black hole. That sounds right. It's the one that upgrades it, gives it CDR, increases the damage, basically turns it into like how to wipe a team.
Well, now, so much for what I said, because we have a off-tank Uther Anduin kind of double support comp over here, really trying to survive through the blow-up that Imperius can sort of set up there.
Yeah, this is an interesting setup.
We have a quad support game. Didn't see it. So forget everything I said. They're gonna try some different stuff here. I love it. Quad support. Can't tell you the last time I casted a double support game.
The funny thing is, I was talking to the team about it not long ago. I was like, hey, is this something we should consider looking at? You know, with the way the current meta is. I won't disclose the results of that conversation. Not that it matters with our playoff chances now, but it is interesting to see kind of this return. You know, Uther did have some changes to his Holy Radiance, so he's played a little bit differently. He can kind of supplement. Maybe Anduin goes into like a bold strategy now, which is less commonly picked these days since his changes. And then, I mean, Oriole and Deckard. Deckard early game is kind of limited on his mana pool, right? Oriole doesn't have that problem.
Yeah, and I know ReGen Divine has dabbled this season a little bit in kind of double support here and there. They haven't like leaned on it too heavily, but they've kind of, you know, used it on occasion. So I'm not entirely surprised to see it. I haven't kept up on Clouded Minds quite as much this season, so interested to see what they do with it. And I don't think I've seen an Uther Anduin in particular, that particular combination before. It's a lot of CC.
Yeah, absolutely, it can be. Well, let's go ahead and get things started. Mongoose, pick a side.
Well, let's start on the left. The team in the blue trunks. ReGen Divine, team captain Jason, flexing over to the second support spot, playing that Ariel. Veteran Silent Shoe on the Cassia, Bankai on Johanna, Zigo on Imperius, and Geek USA on Deckard Cain.
All right, and over here to the right, Clouded Minds. We've got Ruffian playing the Tassadar, Star Knight on the Anduin, KC Court on the Garrosh there, Trelena, there we go, on Tychus, and Tetcher on the Uther. And I do have to say, I love the commitment from Clouded Minds to always be riding the green clouds. All right, Tychus going to get caught by the spear there, and a little bit of damage coming from Cassia, but this double support is going to keep him pretty healthy, although Uther, of course, already in the bot lane. Did I lose you, Mongoose?
I'm absorbing it. I'm taking it all in. I also had to adjust my sound settings so I could hear you over the game sound.
Oh, gotcha.
Because sometimes the observer stuff is weird like that with the sound.
Gotcha. Well, we do have some interesting talents here. So we do have body check coming out from the Garrosh. I think Cassia, like going into Q build, is more normal, as we see her going into the camp. I'm interested to see how that plays out, just because of the double support, right? Like having the double support with Cassie as your kind of main source of damage. I don't know how that works, but Burn the Impure from Imperius is really going to help on, I mean, Garrosh, Uther, Tychus.
Yeah, and worth noting too, right now, Tetcher on that Uther is actually pretty solidly handling the bottom lane there. I think the self-sustain out of the Uther was giving the Imperius some problemos.
Yeah, and he's already halfway done with his quest too.
Yeah, auto-attacking those minions like it's his job. And the body check, not something you see quite as often from the Garrosh, who is invading. Nice positioning there by Bankai to kind of cut off the Gary. However, The toss does go in. Silent Shoe is in a lot of trouble. He hasn't dropped the turret yet, and now he does. The red health bar is now low as well. Here comes Imperius on the flank, but it is going to be Clouded Minds who gets the kill, the biotic emitter, and forces the turret out from ReGen Divine. What I was going to say, the body check with the double healer and the reduced healing makes a lot of sense, even though it's not a talent you see as much. I totally get the kind of theory crafting behind that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, so what do you think we're gonna see like from ultimates out of these supports?
That is a great question. We don't really have a traditional divine shield target, you know, kind of old school's kind of, you usually throw it on a gray man, you just let him go ham on the backside, right, and you can't stop him. He just gets all over whoever and takes him out. They don't really have a traditional divine storm target like that. My guess is I want all CC, light bomb, divine storm. That would be my guess from Clouded Minds. And I mean, I assume it's got to be not Regeneration, but the other one, the name of Aegis, and Stay a While maybe for Divine. But I could really see it either way on all four of those guys.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be those stuns for Clouded Minds. They're throwing Johanna in, but ultimately Clouded Mind's able to pick up the channel now. 60%, 61% rather for ReGen Divine. The Oriole, I think you're right. I think we're going to see Resurrect for them, because they really need to have like Imperius and Cassia to be able to do anything.
I believe that was the medallion there for Garrosh.
It was, yep. Well, there's Johanna getting a big condemn with Imperius on the pole, and that's one of the things you have to be really cognizant of when you're playing Johanna and Imperius together. Potentially even the other heroes like the Cassia, and I'm going to come back to those ults in a second here, is that you have to be mindful of the timing of the condemn so you don't interrupt or pull people off of Imperius' spear. Gets a lot of damage bonus from there. Big root there, hitting onto 3 targets. Tychus getting his minigun as the biotic emitter dropped there for Clouded Minds. Keeping him pretty healthy over here. Benkai getting very low as Imperius going in looking for that Tassadar. Big root's going to get onto Tychus. And the Leap of Faith, not enough to keep him alive. 1-to-1 in the kill count so far.
Yeah, the Deckard AoE crowd control there really paying dividends. Geek able to kind of finally lock one of those Clouded Minds players in long enough to finish him off, because we saw a number of times through both sides, Aero, where these health bars just get low, but they never quite get low enough, and nobody seems to die. I think we're going to see kind of a lot of that this game.
Yeah, I would expect so, and, you know, talking back about those ultimates, I think Deckard likely does go the Stay a While, because that's really going to help set up those big Imperius stuns, especially as he gets additional damage out of that talent at level 7, and depending on what he takes later as well. The Oriole, I already talked about a little bit there, but I think it's likely that otherwise they'd have to be really careful about potentially, like, using the Lornado and pushing people in the wrong direction, or off of an Imperius stun as well. And I really do think that Imperius is going to be like integral to their ability to win fights on this, as compared to the Tychus on the other side.
Right, yeah, he really needs to pick his spots. Actually, both Imperius and Cassia, you know, Cassia is vulnerable to Garrosh, and she does a lot of damage, but she's kind of short range for a ranged assassin, so really want to pick her spots. With the Fend in particular, and Imperius is really vulnerable to that Tychus, so he needs to pick his spots on when he goes in for that big impale, because both of those heroes could really put themselves in a difficult position if they're not where they want to be.
Well, it looks like Clouded Minds, with their level 10s being up earlier, are going to head to the support camp. And Tychus is going to start autoing there with the minigun. We've got Cassie with her Ball Lightning coming through. There's the Stay Well. Big salvation coming in. Absolutely clutch there. The Biotic Emitter going over to ReGen Divine, though, as the Crystal Aegis coming in. And a big stun. Triple root as well. 1 for 1 so far, though, as Garrosh juking the Q from Cassia. So 2 for 2 now. It's not quite done.
That fight was bananas. It started off, you're like, oh man, ReGen Divine as it continues to go on. Like, Divine's got this. Oh my god, that Holy Word Salvation was so good. They're in trouble. Oh, the Aegis was so good. ReGen Divine has this again, and they just kind of both ended up massacring each other.
Yeah, a little bit on each side, and well, we got 50% of the ults right.
Yeah, yeah. And they were all so good there. The Holy Word Salvation in particular, because Clouded Minds was in a world of trouble until that went out, and it was really good and completely spin that fight around.
Yep, absolutely. Really well played. Ultimately, a slight favor there to ReGen Divine as they did get 1 additional kill. But, you know, the structure damage so far in this map is not significant. Even getting that original Protector, ReGen Divine is not really ahead. I mean, they've got a little bit more damage onto that bottom tower in top lane, but now Clouded Mind's going to get a little bit of value in mid lane.
Where they actually did their structural damage is during the Protector. They actually sent Cassia Aerial bottom lane, and it was only Uther there to defend. That's why if you look at that bottom wall, it's pretty Shrek'd. It's because Cassia was down there during the first Triglog Protector. They're kind of setting up for the number 3 Protector almost.
Yeah, and I actually did catch that a bit too. They nearly had the kill on to Tetcher down there.
Yeah, he was really low.
Yeah, just barely kind of positioned himself to not get stunned by Oriel's whip there. We did see Casey Court use his Indomitable, so his personal Unstoppable is down. Also, his Medallion's down for at least another couple minutes, so there's only about half of the medallions in the game are currently available.
And I love this call by Divine. They stood on the point until they knew Clouded Minds was coming up. They peeled off. They're going to get the soak. They're going to get to 13. They're going to get the turret. And now I'd want to see Clouded Minds pushing up on this top tower. They're like, they don't need to have 3 of the people standing on the point up there, you know.
Yeah, and they're going to get a little bit of value, especially having a full minion wave. Divine now has their level 13, so they're going to be able to rotate in. Curious
Round
looking
number
for this
2, Aero.
Maybe not. Go ahead, Mongoose.
I was going to say, round number 2, we have our first 5v5. There goes the Commandeer Odin. The Stay a While only catches 1, but it's a big one. The Leap of Faith forced to go out onto the Garrosh. There is the Black Hole by the Tassadar. Uther goes in, hits a big Divine Storm, and pays for it, but now Ghost Healing's going to be out there for Clouded Minds. Another big Holy Word Salvation, and Clouded Minds looks to be turning this a 1-for-1, but Divine actually in full retreat.
And, you know, I gotta say, like, Holy Word Salvation, that's a big call in this, but Tychus getting caught by the spear, and now Ruffian also on the Tassadar, very low. Cassia turning around to try to get this Anduin, and just spear just barely missing there.
The wall just missed. Silent Shoe would have been in a rough spot there, but a great turn by Divine and good patience, able to catch out the Tychus, and now in the driver's seat for yet another Protector. But here comes Clouded Minds, despite having Tychus on the bench right now. Divine stepping in as they should.
Yeah, and Johanna was a little bit far away there as she was dead, but she's here now. Big taunt from the Garrosh, but not a ton of follow-up. There's the Ball Lightning, and that's going to finish off the Garrosh. They get the stun onto Tassadar. He's trying to pull away, uses that Black Hole, and ultimately it's going to be another Protector going over to Divine.
Yeah, if I'm Divine here, I want to probably rip this top fort real quick. It's already pretty exposed, should go down pretty fast. And then I'm probably running down to that bottom fort to see if we can, you know, finish off what we already set up down there.
Yeah, and it'll depend on how much health this Protector has. It's already about half health here.
But these team fights, as we thought, man, they're brawls, very back and forth, very long, with kind of pendulum momentum swings both ways throughout.
And 16s are going to be coming up relatively soon, and that's going to be where things start to get a little bit crazy. We might see, you know, Garrosh with, I think it's Earth Shatter with a stun. He could take the Mortal Combo so that he can throw people more often. Maybe he takes Seasoned Veteran, gets more survivability, but the Garrosh is going to become even more of a threat. But you also have then, I assume anyways, giving it's the Shockray build for Cassadar, and a massive bonus in damage from 8% from his Shockrays.
You know, the other thing you talk about too, we're talking about power spikes at 20. Aero, there's a lot of big level 20 power spikes on both of these teams.
Well done.
Which ones do you think are going to be the most impactful for these fights?
The level 20 upgrade for Stay a While, if that's what Decker does, the silence on the back of it is really, really strong. And the way these teams have been clustered up around each other for these team fights, I think Geek could kind of land one big upgraded Stay a While, and then that's kind of that.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. That would that'd be devastating if they're not able to interrupt that. You could maybe even see a level 20 Anduin upgrade, maybe?
Maybe. They've been really good. His Holy Word Salvation's the rotation coming out on a Tetcher. The spear misses, but he is caught out. Blessed Shield may not have even been necessary, but there's the whip. Down goes Uther.
Yeah, that level 20 upgrade for Salvation is an interesting one because it basically it's an invulnerability for everybody else on your team. So no CCs or anything like that. Could be the kind of thing that they're looking for to keep that Uther alive for the extra healing as well and the armor.
Yeah, that's not something you see a whole lot of.
But you don't see Salvation very often either.
Also true. Normally, Light Bomb, especially in more organized play, tends to be a little bit more common.
And it's, I mean, for what it's worth, it's a ballsy move to take that into this team anyways. We get a pause.
Well, and frankly, though, from Clouded Minds, that Holy Word Salvation has been absolutely critical to where they are in the game. Without that heroic, a couple of these team fights would not have happened the way that they did. So thus far, it has been the correct.
Mongoose, we have a game.
And Garrosh is starting his bot career by hearthing back with like 3/4 health and mana.
Well, you know, that's very important for a Garrosh because, as everybody knows, he becomes easier to kill when he's lower health.
Right. I just mid lane, almost full health and mana, I better hearth.
Yeah.
What it might have been, actually, I didn't see, is maybe one of the heroes that was back there pinged him. That could have been.
No, I think that it was just he was the team. Well, there's Garrosh with the big stun onto Imperius. Garrosh coming in with the big plays.
Bot Garrosh laying down the law on Zigo with that Imperius, and this is actually a big deal. This might allow Clouded Minds to get on this well, and that's a big deal, honestly. Right as this point C is getting ready to start up here, if you can kill the Sippy Cup, that's definitely a victory. And they're trying.
Yeah, and these healing wells don't have a lot of health anymore. It's now mostly shielding, so if you can get that shielding down, it only takes a auto or two to burn through it, unless you're somebody like a Tracer, for
and it was done. They did get it.
They did. Now, there is a siege camp pushing up in the top lane, so they traded the kill onto Imperius for a little bit of damage up here, and it's Tychus heading back to deal with said pressure.
And nobody from Divine. Now they're making their way down there. I guess they're waiting for Imperius to show up. Geek kind of standing on the corner. Tychus still showing in the top lane, so Divine knows for the next 30 seconds or so they'll have the numerical advantage. But they're going to go ahead and get their turret. And that might give Tychus the opportunity to work his way down here and even these numbers.
Yeah, and this is... I mean, Clouded Minds... the only way that they win this game, I think, with a bot Garrosh like this, is that they have to be just absolutely ballsy. They have to make the craziest plays that you just don't expect so that Garrosh is far enough in to be able to make things happen. I just can't see them getting this any other way.
Right, and frankly, bot Garrosh is going to get himself into trouble. You can't abandon him either, right? You can't let him just go in and die. You kind of have to follow up on his crazy. Speaking of crazy, he went right in and grabbed Deckard, The Biotic Emitter goes out, a big taunt. There's a Divine Storm. Tassadar dropping a bunch of damage. Bot Garrosh hits a double stun. Here comes the Commandeer Odin. Everybody is low, but nobody going down. Body blocks on the Garrosh. Bot Garrosh low, but he is running away. The Leap of Faith pulls him out of trouble. Now it's Zigo. So, and another Holy Word Salvation arrow. Oh, my goodness.
Absolutely crazy, and they're still going. The Odin should be falling down here soon. Oh, a triple stun from Imperius. Gets massive damage, and Garrosh is going to go down. Tetcher following shortly, and Anduin. Can Zigo get another spear here? Oh, that's a great Gladiator medallion there on the Tychus. Like, it didn't end up having the spear, but there was a very real possibility that that spear could have caught Tychus. From,
These fights are just so bananas. It's like all of the healers have to burn through everything they have, and then the fight starts.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, all right, so we've got ReGen Divine pushing into this bottom lane wall. Johanna's going to sit there on the point, hold on to that. They've got level 20s here. For the Deckard, it is Respect the Elderly, probably the most impactful, I think, ultimate of anybody in this game, in my opinion. Or, I guess not ultimate, Storm Talent.
Yeah, I could see that. But this is going to be tricky for Clouded Minds here. They're going to have no keep, and this is going to be a 18-minute Triglav Protector marching straight at core. I wonder if this is a core call for Clouded Minds. This would be a tough core call, and something we have seen throughout this game, it's easy to forget because of the long delay, was that Tychus and the members of Clouded Minds have really been eating through these Protectors pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, that big percent damage that they've got can certainly do that. They will have level 20s here. There they are. But Star Knight already very low. Garrosh is going to throw in the Cassie, I think that was? Yes. As the Protector doing what it can on the core. Big black hole onto Jason and Benkai there. And it's just Deckard in the Protector. Actually getting out, going to pop off that Respect the Elderly. Gets all 5 of them. Kills the Uther. Now the Garrosh is getting pretty low with a double throw, but it doesn't matter. That's a couple more kills, and now this Protector is able to just finish its job.
I actually thought there for a minute that Clouded Minds was going to pull that defense off. It was looking real good for them. But the stay a while and the big spear combined with the discipline of the pilots of the Protector to stay on core, and ReGen Divine taking game number 1.
And I have to say, like, Bot Gary did pretty decently. Like, certainly better
really
than I expected.
Really did.
But I mean, right after I said it, Respect the Elderly, the most impactful, Geek USA popping out, was the only person in that Protector at the time. Pops out, clutch, 5-man AoE, put you to sleep, and then 3 seconds of just can't do anything. Except move.
Yeah, and then that, I believe, yeah, that was the talent I highlighted earlier. We were talking about the level 20s, and I said that stay a while, that the stay a while upgrade that I always forget the name of, Respect the Elderly, is really good. I mean, there's a lot of good level 20 upgrades, but I mean, I think you can make a pretty compelling argument. It's one of the, I don't know, maybe top 5 or so in the game. It's really strong.
And just to kind of show what we had elsewhere here, so Tassadar had the Kugel Blitz. Every time I look at that, I think it's Kegel Blitz, and it's just not.
No, I'm pretty sure it's not.
That's a different game entirely.
Yes.
Light of Stormwind, of course, the Protected, the Invulnerability, rather. You know, so that was the other one that we talked about there. Find Hurricane for. Otherwise, I mean, I think a lot of these are pretty well as. I'll show those. 15 kills to 6. You know, you feel bad for Clouded Minds, but like I said, I mean, they actually were pretty well in that game, I think, throughout that whole game until the very last fight. And even that was really close.
Yeah, like I said, initially I thought that they were going to extend the game. The defense was really good. Cassia did get a really good ball lightning, but ended up getting picked off as well. Something that kind of, I think, gets overlooked is in the middle of all that brawling, the Protector was just wailing on the core, though. And it's kind of easy to overlook that damage when Cassia goes down, and it looks like Clouded Minds is defending it, and they were, but in the background, they are working down that core, you know?
Yep. And even at, level 20, it's not a level, 30 protector, but at level 20, it's still doing a lot of damage. Not having that second person in there, certainly how impactful it is, but it's still a lot. Especially to structures, which is what it's designed for.
So, we're going to have game number 2. ReGen Divine can still be the number 2 seed with a victory. Clouded Minds can be anywhere from 2 to 4, depending on how this goes.
That means that CCS is officially
the number
in first
1
place.
Seed. Can't Connect Stuns, officially the number 1 seed for D West.
Did want to shout out Crush, their Crushinator, for the raid coming in. Had an earlier game, I believe. Actually, I believe that was one of the CCS teams that he was casting. Like maybe CCS versus Lightly Salted or something like that.
So
no, that was a different division.
Looks like we're going to Shrines. Pick of ReGen Divine.
Righty then. Take a look at those maps here, just to show everybody what we had. Mongoose, do you want a quick break here for a water break?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's take 2. I can make sure the kids haven't burned down the house or left me divorced by driving my wife away. That's a good idea.
All right, perfect. Everybody, we'll be right back.
My blade is ready to be unleashed.
Ignorance will be your undoing. No one can stop me.
You want original or extra crispy? Smells like victory.
You shall pay for this treachery. Come and take your punishment.
It's food time! Pedal to the metal. Let's get this party started. And I'm out of here.
Are you trying to show me up? You're a bother. My wrath takes form.
Calling for a retreat. Smell you later.
condemn you.
This is gonna be too much fun. Someone should probably stop us.
All right, everybody, we're back, and I am joined here by Mongoose for our game number 2 between ReGen Divine and Clouded Minds. You know, we've talked a fair bit about the standings. We've talked about you know, where they could find themselves, who they could be playing against. But real quick here, let me show up these maps. I should have before we went to pick, but our bands here were on Brax's Holdout, Hanamura Temple from ReGen Divine, First Hollow, and Dragonshire for Clouded Minds. Both of these maps have been picked by ReGen. Picked Volskaya first. Infernal Shrine's now the selection. And another big map. Maybe a little bit different than Infernal Shrines. What do you think maybe we'll see differently here?
I think probably for Divine, the bans are going to stay the same for the same reason. The objective both on Volskaya and on Shrines can get a little drawn out. It's not a fast thing. It's a fighting over an area. Diva can blow up the Shrine Monkeys, and once again a Mei ban out. So I expect Mei, then Gazlo, then whoever Clouded Minds doesn't want to see, then Diva would be my guess for how we'll open up here.
I also forgot to mention earlier, because there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. Caledorn actually came in with the 69 bits as well. I actually missed that in the Moist Venus spam. And then, of course, the 100 bits earlier from Shock Daddies. Maybe Shock Daddy Z, but I'm going Shock Daddies.
Either way.
We did not get a reconnect. No, we actually have a sub in. Ruffian is our 5th player. But we're
actually Tiger actually who's coming. I think Ruffian was in last game. Tiger.
Oh, crap. Did I do that wrong? You are 100% correct. Yeah, 100% correct. Yep. Good thing you were paying attention.
And I have no idea what I'm talking about. They left up Gazlo, they left up Diva. Instead, they're going to get rid of Orphea and Tassadar, and that will lead to a first pick Gazlo for Clouded Minds.
And why not? I mean, he's a strong hero. This is a setup hero map. I mean, there you go. So.
And then a response of Diva, and right back with the Decker King.
Now, you know, Deckard with a mech explosion, I mean, put some people to sleep, maybe you got a root on them. It's a long time that the mech explosion takes to explode. I think it's 4 seconds. But Deckard is a 3-second sleep with a 2-second after he's done channeling, so maybe.
Stay a while and eat Diva Bomb, maybe?
Maybe.
On the flip side, though, we have Gazlo combo into APOC into Stukov Lurking Arm? Question mark?
Could be. Honest gonna be the 3rd ban here, so getting a lot of different bans here this round, and I think the Sylvanas brings a lot of value here. So I actually really like seeing that ban. It means that Clouded Minds, because apparently ReGen Divine didn't want to pick it, but it means Clouded Minds can't get the extra push value out of them. Like Punishers.
Yeah, Sylvanas, in my mind, is one of those heroes that just kind of falls under the category of generally good. She's just never a bad selection, frankly. So no ETC or Mei for Bankai. We'll put him right back on Johanna.
Yeah, and I think that Johanna here is a really strong hero as well. Like she's got good wave clear, but that also means she has pretty decent shrine clear. Getting that cooldown reduction on level 4. You yourself play a fair bit of Johanna, as I seem to recall.
I do, and I love the Chromie pick. If they go with Slowing Sands, the zone control on the shrines is really good. Deckard's AoE CC just sets up all of her stuff. She can stay like 1.5 miles away She's not overly vulnerable to the Gazlo stuff. Diablo, if she positions correctly, kind of has to overextend to get onto her. So I really like that Chromie pick.
Yeah, and you've got your time traps to set up a lot of plays, potentially. Again, that mech explosion. But I really like the Kael'thas and Lunara here for a couple of reasons. Kael'thas on Infernal Shrines is able to put that Living Bomb onto Shrine Defenders, which means that you have to constantly be aware of where that Living Bomb is. You may be able to hear it, but it's harder to see on those tiny little Shrine Defenders. But the Lunara pick is so huge here. They don't have a cleanse with the Stukov, but now Lunara, she can cleanse, and it's a pretty short cleanse. I think it's 30 seconds for Abolish Magic at 13.
Yeah, I really like the Lunara. I like the Kael'thas, but it's also slightly concerning. He's not a particularly mobile hero, so it can be a little easy for Chromie to drop a bunch of damage on him from a safe distance as well. So that'll be kind of an interesting give and take dynamic from those two as the game goes on.
All right, well, our poll last game, I never even mentioned it, actually favored ReGen Divine. I'm going to go ahead and post this poll for you guys to visit now here. Who do you guys think is going to win game number 2? Is this going to be a ReGen Divine sweep? Or does Clouded Minds bring it to a third game? We'll go ahead and introduce our teams while we get those votes. All right.
The blue team, ReGen Divine, hoping for the 2-0 domination. Bankai back on the Johanna. Jason flexing back onto his natural role, Mage. Playing that Chromie. Geek USA on Deckard Cain, Zigo on Diva, and Silent Shoe on Board Shorts Tygus.
All right, and over here to the right, looking to even this up, we've got Tetcher playing the Gazla. We got Ruffian on the Kael'thas, Trilliana on the Lunara, Star Knight there on Stukov, and Tiger on Diablo. And this is, if I recall, Tiger, the normal main tank for Clouded Mains. Maybe not this season, but definitely in the past.
Yes, absolutely true. He is one of their veteran players. He's been around. He knows what's going on. But I need to make a big correction here, Aero. And that is Silent Shoe is actually playing Banana Hammock Tychus, not Board Shorts Tychus.
Very important.
That's an important distinction.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, we do have Diva up in the top lane. Keeping in mind, of course, that with the recent patch, both Gazlo and Diva did receive some nerfs, mostly on the side of Gazlo, but Diva did see a reduction there on her level 4. Tetcher is not going to make it out. Almost had it. That grenade just enough.
I'm pretty sure they actually, this last week, when they nerfed the Gazlo, they nerfed the hit points a little bit. That may have been the difference, because it was a pretty tight thing, honestly.
Yes, that was, I mean, one attack. In fact, we can look real quick just to see. Oh, I can't see the recap. All right, well then never mind. You can see the recap probably. It didn't show up for me. Chat saying that they think ReGen Divine's got this. Looks like 60% of the votes. As Divine gonna work on this bottom camp, but we're getting the invade. Diablo coming in. Might be able to, yeah, I was gonna say get that stun on Johanna. She is gonna pop the Iron Skin to walk away. Probably fine. Especially with that Ruby Roderick Cube.
Yeah, I like, oh, Bankai has no Iron Skin this time, but there's Jay just dropping in that damage from so far. Living Bomb is in the middle of all this. It's going to go to somebody. It goes to Silent Shoe, but Stukov eats the time trap. There's the punish from Johanna. Star Knight with 160 some on health, but it's actually Bankai that goes down with the Gatorade bottle at his fingertips. Couldn't quite reach.
So close, but just not quite able to get there. And, you know, it's really difficult not to chase after a kill like that, where you just need one more auto or one more ability to finish that job, but then suddenly those towers... And the towers aren't as strong as they were. They did nerf those down a little bit, but... I mean, they still do a fair amount of damage.
And not just that, as any Johanna player will tell you, there is nothing, and I mean nothing, more satisfying than a shield glare kill behind their wall.
That's
so
true.
I know what was going through Bankai's head there.
That's true. And the reason why, of course, being is that shield glare is a slight tickle.
Yeah, it does functionally 0 damage.
All right, well, already just about at the halfway point here for ReGen Divine, the Shaman Camp has been picked up by Clouded Mines here. Time Trap going out, but Divine going to go ahead and pull back just a little bit as Diva working on getting him to level 7.
I think Jay's in trouble.
Yeah, not only that, but also the shove there from Diablo, spreading that living bomb and forcing EQSA to pull back. They also get the double kill there, finishing the job on Johanna.
Yeah, that was a max range gravity lapse through the vision by Ruffian there that caught Jay. And you know, Chromie is great, but not the most durable of heroes. And once they ate that gravity lapse, poor Jay was in trouble.
Yeah, and until you get to 13, I mean, Chromie's going to have a tough time with some of those, well, I guess 11, with some of those things. But it looks like this first Punisher is going to go over to Clouded Mines.
And Ruffian again hitting a big gravity lapse. He's really been spot on with the ones that I've seen there.
All right. Mech Explosion used there to keep Diva alive. They do force the Punisher to jump on the front side of the wall, and Diva, like, pulling the team back does give Divine enough time to get this Punisher down to half health. Gravity Lapse over the wall there to catch Johanna, and here comes another burst of Frost to lock down and finish off that front wall.
Yeah, and Gazlo the whole time, Diva kind of stayed a little longer than the Gazlo did, and that little extra soak kind of showing in the XP bars there for Clouded Mines.
Yeah, about that half of a level, a little bit less now, but Clouded Mines gonna head over and pick up their siege camp. It is scouted by the Chromie with her Time Walker's Pursuit.
A lot of vision tools for actually both of these teams between the Wisps and the Chromie stuff. And even Shield Glare, I think, is actually underrated as a vision tool, frankly.
So Diva right now going into a most likely an all or almost entirely defense matrix build. And these two talents that she's got right now, so you didn't see a lot of this level 4 because of the fact that the other one was just so good. Great Iron Skin there, keeping Johanna from getting caught by the Diablo. But this level 4 here gives her the reduced healing on targets, but also then the level 7 giving additional defense mech explosion charge. So I kind of expect we'll see at minimum one more defense matrix talent for the additional radius. That way she can pretty well cover everybody in a shrine.
Yeah, and you know, from what I've seen so far, they're kind of trying to set up to see if they can get to Jason doing something foolish, but he's staying very, very safe. If this game does go through to a game 3, I think honestly Ruffian so far has shown enough on this Kael'thas to possibly warrant a ban, even as they managed to catch an overextending Gazlo in the top lane.
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate. Both teams kind of looking to do the same thing, just in opposite halves of the map. But it's the solo laner that gets caught out there on the Gazlo.
Jason was just nowhere near where he could get
was
caught.
not
He
interested in that.
Really far back.
Yeah.
No, not at all. And back down in the bottom lane again, Jason kind of has that zoning, slowing Sands, doing his best to drive them back, but really not stepping up forward. Now with Johanna in the neighborhood, though, maybe a little bit more, a little bit braver, let's say.
Diva is going to get caught here and brought down to about half health, but that level 1 liquid cooling, I mean, it's a fun talent. I don't know that it's functionally better than the others or not, but it allows you that shorter cooldown and use anywhere. Apocalypse is going to come out kind of as a defensive use there. Just to make sure the
very
Titan
minimal
can get
value out of that. That was a big cooldown for Divine to get there.
Yeah, especially with that combo that they've got.
And with a full charge on the D.Va mech and no APOC, this is already looking really good for Divine right now. You're going to see D.Va go out anytime now.
Well, Jason getting caught by Lunara. They do trade 1-for-1 there as the mech explosion coming in. Stugov's going to just shove it right on away as Bankai going in. Oh, Odin is coming up as well here. Stay a While's going to land onto everybody. Another massive Stay a While here. Diablo coming back as Stukov is in danger, although he pops those pustules. Taiga's going to fall and spread a little bit of living bomb damage out to his team in the interim there. But it's Clouded Minds finishing this off pretty clutch.
Yeah, and Zigo was all over Star Knight on the Stukov, but Stukov kind of showing his durability, gets out okay, and now Zigo is in a world of trouble. There's the leaping strike and all the kind of Lunara damage. Down goes Zigo. And that looks so good for ReGen Divine, but not able to finish it off. Even Chromie bombarding, I don't think is going to be able to pick up 10 of these things.
No, certainly not with just the 2. Now
if there was 1 or 2 left, maybe, but not quite 10.
Yeah. I'm a little surprised. This was the talent tier that I thought maybe D.Va would not pick a defense matrix. This is the one that does slow and armor reduction. But the alternative is for pilot abilities. She now doesn't have the torpedo dash and the, I don't know, concussive blast or whatever it is, which are extremely useful defensive tools if, say, for example, you get kicked out of your mech like they just had.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say D.Va has not felt terribly impactful this game thus far.
Well, and the reason why is that with this build, D.Va's not so much of a bruiser as she is kind of a support in a lot of ways.
Sure.
She's there to help your team do better. And so you're not going to see her make crazy, amazing plays. You're going to see her make your team do an overall better job. But ultimately, Clouded Minds 2 forts down out of that. And, I mean, let's be real here. Top fort's almost dead. That can be gone at any time.
Absolutely. Both teams jumping on camps. Divine actually with the advantage in offlane soak now, but Clouded Minds knows D.Va's in the top. They are running down here. They will not get the camp, and the time trap will buy Divine the space they need to get out of there, because that was there were sharks in the water, Aero. That was not looking good.
Yeah, but they were vegetarian sharks, so that was all good. Rotation coming in, possibly looking for this D.Va, and as I mentioned, she doesn't have those defensive utilities, so a little bit more dangerous in this position here. I was going to say maybe she's okay as the rest of the team might follow. And they were a little too late there to capitalize on it, but now D.Va going in saying, hey, let's get this Diablo. Here comes the bunny hop. Diablo going to find himself in the graveyard and doesn't have souls to return this time.
Yeah, really good execution there, using the bunny hop and the blessed shield to lock down a slightly overextending Diablo. And Divine had their whole team kind of in that corridor to do something about it, whereas Clouded Minds was a little bit more scattered, so they weren't quite all there to support Diablo. And Star Knight, man, he's just holding that swipe for that D.Va bomb and getting really great value out of it that way.
Yeah, and you can see that was perfect timing. He was like, I know there's a mech explosion. She's about to fall out of health here on her mech, so let's just position for this right now. Both sides going to pick up their Shaman camp. And this is really important because top lane is the next Punisher. It should be an Arcane. Yeah, it's an Arcane Punisher. And right now, this doesn't necessarily favor one team or over the other that much. ReGen still has their healing well, but Clouded Minds has a fort, so about even, I guess.
Yeah, and both teams should be 16 as this starts to come up. D.Va and Gazlo in the bottom lane. I'm surprised Divine is not stepping in a little harder to guard this well. They're just going to kind of let him drop it real quick. I guess without 16s, maybe discretion the better part of valor.
Yeah, that does now give that slight advantage to Clouded Minds, having a place to defend if they need to pull back a little bit. But it's not. Neither team now has an advantage over the shrine itself. But they both have 16s.
Both teams have all of their heroics up. D.Va kind of coming in for a flank here, but no D.Va bomb. Zigo needs to build that thing up.
Well, here comes the Odin. Bunny Hop is going to be into the back line here. Kael'thas is going to get caught by the sleep and deleted.
But it doesn't matter because Gazla was there to press his buttons, and it's a 1-for-1. Both of the mages going down. Lunara dancing all over the back. Zigo not able to pop the D.Va bomb because of the lurking arm. It's a 1-for-1, but Divine is in full retreat mode, Aero.
Oh, they almost get the Lunara. Oh, the Diablo. I was gonna say might have actually cost Lunara, but she's just fine here, as the flip charge is gonna be able to help take out that Tychus. So this should be another Punisher in favor of Clouded Minds. Oh, the interrupt on the mech. She cannot get into that mech for a little bit here, but is able to sneak over there, get one of those super pots, and now she's good.
Yeah, as my team found out our last set, the Gazlo Gravel Bomb is a ridiculous counter engage. Divine got Kael'thas real early there, but it didn't matter. Gravel Bomb went out and 1-for-1, and Clouded Minds looking good, basically.
Yeah, and this Arcane Punisher now is going to be heading into a keep wall, as Johanna Chromie trying to get this camp down in the bot. They're pretty far from getting level 18, so they can't even get Chromie her level 20 for the piercing. Certainly not in this defense. So they do get started with a root there, so slowing down the advance a little bit, but D.Va getting very low here, has to... okay.
Oh, it wasn't able to pop the mech, by the way, once again. Forced to jump out of it without actually activating the bomb part of it. And it looks like Zigo has a DC. This is a really rough place to do that, but kind of one of those things.
Yeah, I mean, in all seriousness, I think D.Va dies here either way. If she had the level 13, pilot talents, then maybe she survives because she can, knock people away, then dash. I don't think she gets out of this, but we'll see. It sounds like they're back. Let's see this. Yay.
Yes. Short DC is much better than long DCs.
Smokecott's another 30-minute break. Nope, doesn't look like it this time. Chromie time trapped the whole game. Darn it, Chromie. Your time traveling shenanigans. Well, the team with the DC'd player is ready. So, and it sounds like we're good here. Just waiting on that countdown.
Here we go. Huzzah.
All right. Stay While is going to miss, but Star Knight there getting really low. Not even entirely sure. It must have been maybe the Tychus who gets flipped by Diablo. Punisher's gone. So this is just the remnants here, as Gravel Bomb coming in is going to hit onto both Johanna and Chromie, but not enough to get the kills there. But with Tychus dead, this is a pretty significant advantage for Clouded Minds, and they do have the minion wave coming.
Yeah, and the second team fight, Jason is going to eat the mini turrets and go down. Second team fight we've seen where Star Knight on Stukov escapes with like minimal health. Bankai tried to finish him off this time, wasn't able to. It was D.Va the first time, and a first keep secured by Clouded Minds, looking very strong here in game number 2.
The next Punisher is going to be in the mid lane. It's going to be a Mortar Punisher. Be coming up in a few minutes. Both teams probably will be level 20 at that point, and of course, Chromie will have her her upgrade for sure. So at least one hero on the Head of Divine will have their Storm talent, as we see level 20 now for Clouded Minds. We did mention here this miniature black hole, so again, that's a 50% increase in damage and radius, but also the massive cooldown reduction. I mean, 12 seconds per hero hit. That's pretty significant.
Yeah, if barring something weird happening, and we've seen it before, Divine not out of this game by any stretch, but If Clouded Minds does manage to force a game number 3, I think Divine either has to take first pick and force Clouded Minds to ban the Gazlo, or you have to ban it yourself.
Yeah. Well,
now a Hellgate by Tiger going deep onto the Chromie, and they're able to get him and stay a while. Used as a counter, Zigo is able to barely get back in the mech. Now Stukov caught out, Bunny Hop holding him in place. There's the stun. Star Knight flailing swipe to try to get away. This time he finally goes down, but the Grabo Bomb takes down Johanna as a counter kill, and it's 2 for 1 in favor of Clouded Minds, and another max range gravity lapse by Ruffian, really flexing on that Gale Thoughts arrow.
Yeah, and Tyke isn't going to pop the Odin here. Zigo's very low. Is going to be able to get into that mech here pretty soon. Can the Tychus get the Diablo? Not quite, but they're still very close on some of these other heroes. Tetcher's getting very low. Had the armor reduction from the D.Va, but ultimately just another keep here in favor of Clouded Minds. And the only one they've got left is mid.
Going down, Aero.
Yeah.
Look at mid keep.
Yeah, that catapult is pressuring there. We see Tychus with the grenade to try to stall that out. But Clouded Minds now going to start working on some of these camps. They're going to keep that pressure up. I imagine they'll get their Shaman camp and keep these things going.
And that was a double keep play for Clouded Minds. This objective is frankly must win for Divine, I think, here.
Oh, I 100% agree. The good news is for them is that they're getting their level 20s now.
So piercing on the Slowing Sands and the actually upgrade on the 20 on the Blessed Shield from Johanna.
So Johanna coming in through the silence is going to have a living bomb. Has to be a little bit careful there. Did avoid spreading it. Hellgate over the wall. There's a big Apocalypse into the back. Looking for the Deckard here as the Gravel Bomb's going to hit onto 2. Stay a while does not go off as Deckard just dies. And there's that max range gravity lapse once again. No charges left for the knockback here as the mech explosion going out and Diablo going down as well as Tychus. Can they get anything out of this? What do you think?
I don't know. I think Clouded Minds is going to finish this. It's just a numbers game at this point. Maybe play of the game, assuming Clouded Minds finishes this off. The Hailgate over the wall into the APOC combo just obliterated Deckard Cain. Tiger playing really well, coming back right now, and there is the John Cena over for the side of Clouded Minds. D.Va goes down. Jason running for his life. I don't think he gets away. No, he will not. Lunara will run him down. And I think it's safe to say, I think game 2, Aero, going to go to Clouded Minds.
They do have the minions coming in along with a wave of triple catapults here in the bot lane. They have that Shaman camp and 2 catapults in the top lane. Yeah, this is a fast burn onto this core.
So for game number 3, winner becomes the number 2 seed. Easy enough.
There you go. All right, well, let's take a look at these stats here. You know, game number 1 was definitely in favor. The kill count was in favor of ReGen Divine. They had a slight advantage up until that disconnect on the Garrosh. But even, you know, honestly, even had they had the player, I mean, I don't feel like the bot was too significantly against them. They had some really strong plays in there. Game number 2, very strongly in favor of Clouded Minds, though. So, I mean, game number 3 could be a coin flip, or it could just be, send us to Towers of Doom, please!
As every game, you know, series deciding game should just be on Towers of Doom. That should just be the rule. You're not allowed to pick it, but the last game, if it's a best of 3, game 3 always.
I would support that rule change 100%. And
as expected, Jay is going to take first pick, and that Gazlo was really impactful. There's a reason, even with the nerfs, you're still seeing Gazlo bans. Tetcher topped the charts in a lot of these numbers here. The Gravel bombs were really good. And I think Ruffian's play on the Kael'thas also warrants a ban. So best way to control that and not run out of bans is to take first pick.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we are Waiting to hear back on what map we'll be going to. I mean, if it's not Towers of Doom, is there anything else that you think of that might be kind of in Clouded Mind's favor based on what they've been running here tonight?
You know, I don't know that any map necessarily favors either team. Honestly, they've been very close. Game 1 favored ReGen Divine throughout, but it wasn't lopsided. It was just they played a little bit better. Game 2 was the flip. It wasn't lopsided, but Clouded Minds just played a little bit better. So I think these teams are pretty balanced. I think it's just a matter of if you have that pocket pick that you want to show off, or if there's just a map that your team tends to excel on, or if you want to do the right thing and go to Towers of Doom.
Oh, that's not where we're going.
Oh, boo, Spider Queen. That's not Towers of Doom.
I may have just echoed Mongoose's comments in chat. All right, well, let's take a quick look at the maps here. So, game number 1 there, that was Volskaya Foundry. That was picked and won by ReGen. And game 2, the selection of ReGen Divine on Infernal Shrines. As we just saw, that was won by Clouded Minds. So we are tied up 1-1 here in this best-of-3 set. Our map bans were on Braxis Holdout and Hanamura Temple from ReGen Divine. And Clouded Minds, they banned out Cursed Hollow and Dragonshire. Last game is going to be decided on of the Spider Queen.
And we'll also settle the brackets for D West. So if ReGen Divine wins this game and takes the set 2-1, they will be the number 2 seed, and Clouded Minds will be the number 3 seed. If Clouded Minds wins this and takes it 2-1, Clouded Minds will be the number 2 seed, and ReGen Divine will be the number 4 seed.
There you go. And I imagine, you know, CCS is probably out there watching. I imagine Cool Cats and Kittens are out there watching. Maybe even the rest of Division D West. I mean, ultimately this affects everybody from the 2nd to the 7th seed on who they're playing next.
Absolutely. So really the whole division should be in here. Where is everybody? This should be 6 teams times 5 players, 34 viewers. Okay, that's about right. I'm going to say the entire division is in chat right now.
Close enough. Close enough.
Yep.
Other than people maybe who have to work tomorrow or, you know, things
no
like
excuses. Got to get your priorities in order.
I don't know why, but I just read, so I'm not going to name any names. One of the players said, sorry, was just getting myself set. I read that as, sorry, was just wetting myself.
Just as good.
I mean, you know, whatever works.
But Clouded Minds getting Casey Court back. The DC in game 1. That's especially as well as Tiger played. That's an interesting decision. You know, it's I'm always leery to bring a player back. It's not about the player, but the DC issues. They're having DC issues. That's a little disconcerting.
Well, you know what? Maybe they'll take the Murd in this game, right? Because then, I mean, if they do get the DC, they'll have Murden to. So we're just waiting on nobody. Like everybody's ready.
All right, let's do it. Game number 3.
And, you know, I mean, this is, for what it's worth, I mean, when you're talking about your position in the playoffs and it's the last match of the season, like, you want it to, I mean, maybe not, maybe you don't want it to go to game 3, but, like, it's the hype is increased so much more because it affects so many players, so many teams. This one game determines, what, 5-6 different potential scenarios?
Yep, absolutely.
So, yeah.
And last regular season cast of season 10 too, so It's a good one.
It's all riding on this line right here.
So Dibble's ban coming out. Now, Tiger, who played the Diablo last game, actually isn't in this game. But Clouded Mind sticking with the Mei ban, not going to let Bankai play arguably his best tank.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to argue.
Tassadar. So I would assume this says Divine will take Gazlo if he's up, right?
I mean, I would assume as much. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they left it up last time, and I think they were thinking, you know, the difference between Gazlo and Diva. And I mean, I think that that was an error in judgment. I don't think that the Diva necessarily brought as much as they needed for that to work out.
And the flailing swipes really just basically countered the Diva bomb, and it is going to be Gazlo picked up by Zigo. So that does leave Kael'thas available for Ruffian. Kael'thas is good on Tomb, and he played him really well last game. Although probably a little susceptible to that Gazlo bomb, so definitely some things to think about there.
Yeah, and I mean, a couple of really impactful heroes from earlier in the set. I mean, Tassadar was taken out, Furious taken out. I mean, both of these heroes can be pretty rough to deal with on Tomb of the Spider Queen, but Trelena gonna pick up that Sylvanas that was banned out last game, and there you go. We're switching sides on the Diva and Gazlo here.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm just not on the Diva train, but I just sensed her last pass they took at her. I don't feel that she's just at that level that she was before. In the games that I've had with her, she doesn't feel like she just has nearly that same level of impact to highly prioritize her at quite the same level.
No, I would generally agree, and I think that a lot of it depends on how you build her, because you know, just like we saw in that last game, the build that she had, I think in general could work there, especially because you're having some fights over those control points. That being said, you had a lot to go into. Like, Defense Matrix is a channeled ability, so you're moving slower. You've got Diablo, who can interrupt it many times. You've got Stukov, who can Gravity Lap. So I mean, it's probably suboptimal to go into a build like that. Although I understand the why. Whereas if you go into some of those other talents, like that level 4 that gives the additional minions and stuff like that, you provide more rather than relying on your team, right? The defense matrix requires your team to do this and you to stand there.
So we do see the Orphea that was banned out last game will be played by Ruffian this game. And an Uther for ReGen Divine does, I think, leave the window open for a double support again. Should they want to go down that route? Probably a little less likely on Tomb, but you never know.
Could be. I agree. I don't necessarily think that's the case, but this could... okay. This could really set up the combo once again with like a Gravel Bomb. Got the Storm.
Twilight Dream, the Roots. I mean, that's a lot of... But who... So Gazlo's in the bottom lane, and then you have the double support in the 4-man.
I don't think that's what's going to happen.
You don't think so? So is it Uther's just going to auto-attack minions in the bottom lane?
I think that's kind of the direction this goes, maybe. Especially since Jason's now on the Uther.
And now we have Gary back from game number 1 here in game number 3. I will say, though, I don't think the Garrosh fits into this comp as well as it did in the game 1. I'm not sure, other than Stukov, there's not a lot of follow-up CC for that toss. Usually you need somebody to kind of hold him down for an extra second on the backside.
I mean, I think the Garrosh is straight up an answer to the Cassia, maybe even the Uther. He's got the Unstoppable. Like, their damage potential is a lot from Cassia, right? I mean, obviously the CC combo, but Garrosh can pretty well ignore that. He can also throw mech bombs. Throwing that one out there.
Also true. Yep, that is very true. The one of my favorite moments I've ever had in Heroes was I was playing Garrosh and I threw a Diva bomb into the other team and got a triple kill, and it tilted me because Diva got the triple kill, and I said, no, that is bad hots, Garrosh. should get the triple kill.
And of course, there's also the one where you got to see on Towers of Doom where they threw the mech explosion from a mile away using stitches and portals and things like that.
Fun stuff.
Yeah. But let's get our teams introduced. Mongoose, take us away.
Game number 3 in the blue trunks. ReGen Divine in the battle for the number 2 seed. Jason flexing back onto double support. We'll be playing Uther. Silent Shoe on Cassia. Geek USA on Malfurion. Bankai on Johanna. And Zigo on Gazlo.
All right, and over here for Clouded Minds, KC Court once again on the Garrosh. We got Thatcher on Diva, Ruffian on the Orpheus, Star Knight on the Stukov, and Trelena on the Sylvanas.
Yeah, and I love what Bankai's doing here. I think when you play Joe into a Gaz in particular, you just kind of hug Gazlo, or Garrosh is what I meant to say. You just kind of hug Garrosh's leg the whole game, and you make it so the only person he can throw is you when you're Johanna. And you can really put a hamper on the other team when you do that.
Yeah, and we're going to see this, as mentioned, so Diva does move slower when she's channeling abilities or auto attacks, so it's a lot easier there for Gazlo to get those stuns. I didn't actually look at Gazlo's build last round. Rocket Boots the here, so he's going to get those that extra move speed when he at TN. Diva also going into Liquid Cool. So, and this is a map like I really find Liquid Cooling on Infernal Shrines to be a fun talent because again it allows you to stay longer. This is a very small map and you're typically not fighting too far away from healing, but it does reduce the cooldown a lot, from 2 minutes to 50 seconds.
Look at the aggressive positioning by the Garrosh. Gets to throw onto Jason. That's not going to be too big of a thing. Uther's a pretty beefy boy, and he's able to waddle the other direction and get out safely.
Yeah, and that root providing some value there.
The best part of Malfurion's kit is that root. Changed my mind.
I mean, he was formerly a support, now he's a healer. Now Johanna up a little bit far forward here. I was going to say may end up finding herself getting thrown if she's not careful. As she's that
Bankai's been a little, I would say, a little quick to hit that Iron Skin button this game. I think they're going to, if I am the side of Clouded Minds, I'm trying to mark that out, honestly, that he's been pretty aggressive with the use of it.
Star Knight just used Gladiator Medallion and is going to get caught there. I believe that was the Holy Shock from Uther. Finish that. A little bit of a counter kill though, as Uther paying for it with his life. Big throw onto Bankai, and it doesn't have any mana, so unless that Iron Skin pops up really soon, this could be a dangerous place, but it looks like Hana's gonna be able to make it out.
Yeah, I think ReGen Divine could have gotten a counter kill on there, except for Silent Shoe wasn't quite close enough when the Uther died.
Zigo trying to get away from the Diva is able to do so there. And keep in mind too, like, well, we'll come back to that thought.
Oh,
yeah, that throw was
just a hair off. Just a hair off. Now, a full wave of missed XP currently crashing in the bottom for ReGen Divine.
It looks like Sylvanas is going to head down to pick up this Siege King. But what I was going to mention about Gazlo, you want your bruiser solo laners typically to have some kind of self-sustain. And so for Gazlo now, in case any of you don't play him or haven't really noticed, as apparently Garrosh got killed, sorry about that. I was watching the solo lane. Gazlo gets a lot of his healing from his lasers now, and that can increase at level 4. I don't think that's what he did. Oh.
So 34 gems turned in by ReGen Divine. They're about a third of a level higher in the game here now, but Gazlo will eventually need help with those giants in the bottom lane. This will be enough if Silent Shoe can get these in. Star Knight really stepped forward to try to get that, and caster math is bad. That's 40, not 50, by the way. So he did get them in, but it wasn't a turn in.
No worries at all.
Enough.
Yep. And it looks like D.Va's going to get a few more turned in the bot lane there. Only 5, but it's 5 more than what they had. And Cloud of Mines now has enough total. So both teams have enough to be able to spawn the Web Weavers. KC Court is going to throw Johanna into the silence as the root on the other side. Star Knight getting very low here. And but none of the damage able to really follow up.
No,
and the
Silent Shoe and Geek USA were all over the backside, so it really prevented those guys for Clouded Mines from stepping up.
Well, it looks like Blue's going to go ahead and get their Web Weavers out. The mech explosion going out, and of course there's not really any way that ReGen Divine can move that mech around like Stukov was able to do last game.
They threw Johanna, who actually turned that into a 4-man condemn. So maybe a little bit of a small backfire there from Clouded Mines. Bankai just kind of said, okay, and pressed a big W.
I think maybe they were hoping to get that Uther, possibly?
I think so. I think that's what the plan was. Sometimes the toss targeting can definitely be a little wonky sometimes.
Yeah, you know, Garrosh able to throw samurais and turrets and stuff. I mean, it can be challenging sometimes to really be aware of which target he's targeting for the throws.
Level 10's almost online from Divine. They get the top wall, the mid wall before finally being forced back. Just kidding. Yes. And
yeah,
bottom front wall too, actually.
Yeah, Gazlo got most of that down, so not too bad for their first Web Weavers, and they've got level 10 here, so I imagine we'll see Clouded Mines wait until they've got 10 to really try to push in and get their own Web Weavers.
Medallion used by Garrosh there in the mid lane, not wanting to get caught out.
That's actually his Indomitable.
Oh, his Indomitable.
Yeah,
right.
he's still on cooldown for his Medallion for a bit.
Oh, big condemn, but this is all in the spell armor. The Divine Storm, the Gravel Bomb, spell armor be damned. That is at least a double kill for ReGen Divine. Spell armor don't care.
And not only that, but 25 gems dropped on the ground there. But Johanna's going to pay for that. A good counter kill here from Clouded Mines, and they've got their level 20s, but KC Court very low is going to have to pull back.
And they'll get this fort anyway.
Yeah, and that's one of the values of having a Gazlo is that you can drop those turrets and soak up the tower shots. You can stick around on towers for a little bit longer. Maybe other teams could.
Jason going to come up here, give Silent Shoe the support so he doesn't get caught out. Hammer of Justice on the Sylve, who gets drawing Silent Shoe all the way in there with the Fend. Oh, that is so awkward for Silent Shoe. He went for the Fend on Sylve right as she used the Wailing Arrow, and it dragged him all the way under fort.
That was a great Gravel Bomb, but it's not looking like it's going to be so good for the team as Condemn... the Subdue talent will get completed there for Johanna, so that'll help them in the long run. But yeah, that double kill plus the kill on the Gazlo, and that's going to give now Clouded Mines the opportunity to get a boss and turn play.
Ooh, this boss is ambitious, I think, honestly. Iron Skin used early again, though, stepping in. Now, Divine doesn't need to tank the boss. They don't need to go all the way in here and tank the boss. They should catch them between the boss and them, but it does not matter. Stukov goes down, but now they're dividing their attention again. Some fighting the boss and some fighting Clouded Mines.
I don't know that I like this play, but it seems to be working out okay for them.
I think either one is fine, but pick one. You can't fight both the boss and the other team. Do one or the other.
Well, I mean, both teams are kind of doing it, and they're gonna pay for it. I mean, it looks like right now is Divine coming out of this, but Bankai might die? No, okay. Yes? Okay, no. I don't know. One hit away, like if they... Okay, we're good. I don't even know where to put the camera.
That was super dicey for both squads, honestly.
I mean, you had the 4-man Divine Storm from Jason. Then you had who then came back to the team. Then they sent in Malfurion to do the Twilight Dream by himself. And I just can't believe how many times like individual players from Divine walked into a full team and then just walked right back out.
And I kind of wasn't a fan of the boss call for Clouded Minds anyway. I mean, they had Sylvanas and they had the turn in. Let's pick a lane and run it down, you know?
Yeah. Well, 47 of 55 turned in here for ReGen Divine. Clouded Minds has turned in a few as well. But it is going to be Web Weavers coming in for Divine. This is their second Web Weaver phase of the game. Their first after level 10. Already one fort down. Top fort pretty low. And they might even be able to take this down real quick before Clouded Minds can rotate up if they in there.
Yeah, they are. Clouded Minds actually still isn't up here quite. Now they're up here, but they've acknowledged that the sport is going down, and they are kind of going safe way to defend top keep, leaving D.Va in the bottom lane. Watch the toss over the wall, Divine. Don't want to have that happen. And that's exactly what happens to Uther, who gets taunted and absolutely obliterated with Divine Storm still on cooldown. That's a pretty big play there for Clouded Minds.
Yeah, that's fantastic there. And, you know, all I can think of is Gimli saying, "Toss me." And then realizing, wait, he has a taunt.
Yeah, and or a Stukov silence, either one.
Well, D.Va's going to get caught here into the Gravel Bomb. Does get the mech explosion off, but it's not going to be enough to keep Tetra alive. Bankai, though, very low, and at least for a moment had that 20 armor down. AC Court, I think, looking for the Johanna, but Geek USA is actually going to be the target. Big Twilight Dream onto 4. Is it enough to keep him alive? For the moment, it seems like it.
You know, very rarely is it you want your team to get Malfurion thrown instead of Joe, but that was definitely one of those situations. And Geeks stepped in for Bankai and ate the throw as he should have. It was a really nice play there for Geek USA.
And it's netted them 2 kills on top of that. I'm sorry, 3 kills.
Yeah, the once again, the toss into a 4-man Twilight Dream, you know?
And this is, it's just absolutely nuts. I mean, the Garrosh has to be careful because depending on who you throw, like you've got Uther who can Divine Storm you, you've got Malfurion who's got the Twilight Dream, which we just saw, obviously Johanna. Hell, even Gazlo might not be the best target because he can just insta-drop his Gravel Bomb on his location. So really the only one you want to throw is Cassian.
Yeah, it really puts the execution onto those guys to do what they did in the top lane, which is they threw Uther, but then locked him down and killed him before he could actually press his button, right? So if you're going to throw Malfurion, you have to do the same thing. You have to lock him down and kill him before he can press his button.
Well, and ReGen Divine does have the talent advantage here. Level 16 is coming up soon for Clouded Minds. They're not here yet, and they have quite a bit of pressure here. I mean, these lanes are very far onto their side of the map. And they're still a fair bit away from getting enough for a turn-in.
Yeah, and Divine is close-ish to getting a turn-in, but Zigo needs to run, Zigo, run! So 16's here for both sides. They're kind of posturing around mid turn-in. If you're Divine and you want to fight in the spell armor, not a terrible idea, but I guess that's not something they're overly interested in.
So I really like Garrosh's pickup here at 16. He took Earthshaker, which gives now a stun. So I think he's done throwing heroes into his team. I think he's throwing heroes away into the enemy team now to help get those additional stuns and set up the plays for his team.
Makes sense.
And I think that's about the best thing you can do. I mean, for the exact reason of what we just talked about, there's a lot of different ways that Divine can set up plays here. So take those plays away from them.
And one of the other things I'm taking from the series is, you know, Gazlo before the nerfs this week was pretty universally banned, and still, despite the nerfs, he's pretty freaking strong still, Aero.
Well, and yeah, I mean, again, that ult combo has always been really strong for him. But it was about all he could do, other than like just straight up siege a lane. Now he's got a little bit more in his self-sustain kit, building it for the lasers, what have you. So he definitely is a beefier hero to have to deal with, but man, it's tough. Also, thanks Baron for the sub, for getting back into this game.
Alright, so another short pause, thankfully, but Tetcher once again caught out a little far. There's the Hammer of Justice. There's all of the other buttons. Tetcher, Divine Storm may not have been necessary, but he is really dead.
Yeah, I think the root was enough. But you know, good to go there, that level 13 talent. I mentioned it last game, and Tetcher did take those talents here, so has the ability to dash away and press a blast away. So, I mean, it probably was a little bit overkill, but if you secure the kill, then whatever, right? It's only the one ult that they've used.
Absolutely. Gazlo kind of prepping this top lane, and this actually will give Divine, if my caster math is correct, no promises. I believe that's boss turn, right?
They have enough. If they, yeah, I was gonna say they all have to turn though. They are right at that number, so boss is just gonna get a little bit of damage here. They'll be able to clear that up, but then the web weavers, I mean, that's the real value here.
And now bottom lane doesn't need to be worried about by Clouded Mine. It's pretty far pushed out. But top lane here is pretty close. Was that the gravel bomb that hit nobody?
It was.
Woo.
Blessed shield earlier too.
Johanna really chasing that Sylve. There's the crushing jaws, juked by the Gazlo, and this is all over Aero.
They get the 2 kills out of it. I'm kind of surprised at how this has gone. Level 20 is now available though. Mech Explosion is on the ground. There went the Divine Storm again, but Star Knight able to retreat to safety. Boss is low. What do you think, Mongoose?
2 people down. I think you put damage into core and see what happens. I think you got to.
Well, right now they're pushing after Tetcher there. Core sitting at 65%. The Web Weaver under half. And Star Knight just trying to shove everybody back. Tetcher doesn't have any health. And does very... Oh, he gets caught by the Web Weaver wave.
That might be it. That could be it. Yeah,
one more kill. Oh, and the miniature black hole. Ultimately, Divine taking it 2-1. What? So what does that mean for our standings there, Mongoose?
So the number 1 seed will be Can't Connect Stuns. The number 2 seed will be ReGen Divine, and the number 3 seed will be Clouded Mine.
Let's take a look at those standings real quick. I'll go back to the stats here in a moment. So there you go. There are your Division D West playoff standings after this best of 3 set between ReGen Divine and Clouded Mines. So congratulations. I mean, really both teams. I mean, they're both at 25 points. They had fantastic seasons. You know, in this set, congrats to ReGen Divine. Of course, they played a fantastic series and great fun to watch when we were able to watch the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Luckily, the pauses in game 2 and 3 were very short.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take us to the stats page while I try to get us over into. You want to hop over to lobby 5?
I would love to.
All right, so I just pulled you down here because this is the lobby I like to go to, so you just have to deal with that.
No problem.
All right, so Mongoose, you're here, yes?
Yeah, I am here, yes.
All right, well, we've got, is it Bankai?
Bankai, according to the anime, Bankai according to English pronunciation, I guess. I don't know. Right. Whichever one you're comfortable with, it works.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, either way, we've got Bankai here from ReGen Divine after quite a lengthy set tonight. You guys are victorious. How does the team feel? You guys are in second place in the division. Like, what What's the excitement level like for ReGen Divine right now?
We're pretty stoked, I guess, but we came into this game like going either way. We're like, if we lose, we get fourth, that's fine. If we win, we get second, that's fine too. Either way, we're gonna meet them in the semis, I guess. So for us, we're like, we're okay with the results that we got. We're pretty happy that we beat them, but yeah, there was no real expectation for us to actually either be second or be fourth. Either one worked.
Sure, and I want to go back to the very beginning of the season here, or kind of do an overview, because this is the last match of the regular season. This is a team that was created just this season, right? This is your first season?
Yes, first season, and my personal first season with NGS as well.
So what has this season been like for you guys, and like what, especially for you as somebody new to NGS, I'm assuming at least to maybe even competitive play, like, how has this been different for you?
This has been awesome because I only started playing Heroes of the Storm 2 months before I got drafted by ReGen Divine. So for me personally, it's been like a roller coaster ride. I had to learn a lot, especially the tank position. Like, I've played Dota competitively, but tanking in Dota is completely different to tanking in Heroes of the Storm. So shout out to my coaches that helped me out and the team that helped me out as well. But on a general note, the entire team has really come together. In the beginning, we've had kind of our ups and downs, everybody trying to get used to everyone's play styles. But as the season progressed, you can see a significant change in our play style from the first game to the last game. So we've grown as a team.
Well, and you guys did really well in Division D West, obviously 25 points, your second place. This definitely looks like a competitive, certainly upper half of the Division 1 through 4. The 5 through 8 looks to be, pretty competitive amongst themselves as well. Are there any opponents that you're really looking forward to playoffs, meeting again, and what can we expect from you guys?
We can expect some good stuff in the playoffs, but I will not disclose anything over here. However, I don't think there's any one particular team that we want to face, but there are a bunch of them that we don't want to face. So, yeah. Yeah, we're looking forward to probably playing Clouded Minds again later on, depending on how the playoffs go. But yeah, no one in particular that we're kind of scared off or anything. We accept challenges and we take them head on.
Mongoose, I'm gonna pass it over to you if you've got any questions here.
Yeah, you guys. I think Geek is also new to competitive too. Is that right, Bankai? Do I remember that correctly?
Yeah, I believe to NGS, but I think he's played a little bit of Heroes Lounge.
Yeah, so you guys definitely have an interesting kind of dynamic of new-ish players and veteran players. Jay and Silent Shoe have both been around for a bajillion years, so it's kind of fun to see that dynamic with new players and guys that have been around a while gel that way. So no real question, just more of an observation, and congratulations to you guys. Looking forward to seeing what you do.
Thank you.
Right on. So I'm not going to ask you a whole bunch of stuff about the set just because of the fact that it was very long. There was a lot of stuff going on there, but I do want to give you the opportunity. Was there any particular moment throughout the series, one or two, whatever, any particular moment that you wanted to make sure get highlighted that you thought was just a really great play? And it doesn't have to be something you did or your team did even, just something you thought was like a wow moment.
It would have been game 1 in Volskaya when we were fighting over the support camp, and we burnt everything there, and then Cassio got caught out by the Garrosh Toss and the body block or whatever that's called, and then she died. But then our Imperius was the one that kind of carried that fight out, and comms were like, oh, heal Imperius, Imperius is gonna carry for us, and Zigo did do that, and he got 3 kills over there or something, completely changed the dynamics of that game, and kind of built momentum from there. So that play was one that at least I felt was really well played.
Oh, I agree, and I think you know, Mongoose and I had up until that point, because if I remember correctly, that was the first fight when both teams had their level 10s, and we were kind of trying to decide, you know, what the ultimates were going to be for the supports in this matchup, and then of course, you know, some of them went the way we thought, some of them didn't. But it turned that was just a very interesting fight. Seeing the use of the cooldowns from everybody that enabled the team to engage, stay alive, push hard, and you're right, it ended up being a 3-2 in your guys' favor, and value there. So. Yeah, fantastic. Well, listen, want to give you an opportunity for any shout-outs.
Oh, yes, definitely. Thanks. First of all, I want to shout out to you guys, Aero and Mongoose, for casting the game. You guys have been doing a good job throughout the season. Second of all, I want to like shout out the team. We all kind of kept our cool and played really disciplined in the game. So shout out to them. Shout out to our to my coach, Cubico, who's always helping me out, as well as the team's coach, Altanian. And also another shout out, if you're okay with it, I would just want to say that coming up Tuesday on the 10th, I believe we are starting a podcast that we would like everybody to join, and you can catch that on my stream at twitch.tv/Banky. 9 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, we're going to talk about a lot of HOTS, NGS, CCL, and Heroes Lounge. So yeah, come check it out, join us, and yeah, that's all.
Awesome. I'm actually glad that you mentioned that. Of course, you've also done some casting this season, and so you know, make sure if you guys aren't already following, to stop by there, hit a follow, and maybe, you know, catch some playoff matches, get some of those cast here coming up. So
yeah. Definitely. Oh, just one more shout out. I want to shout out to Clouded Minds. I forgot about that. Yeah, they played it really well with us, and you know, even though we had to like wait, we still they're cool cats, man. Like they were awesome throughout the series, and thank you guys for making it interesting for us.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us here, and have a wonderful night. And make sure you get your match reported as soon as possible, because they need that for the brackets.
The brackets, yeah. Jay will get on that. But thank you guys.
Right on.
Yeah, have a good
luck.
Day. Thanks.
All right, Mongoose, I'll give you a call back here.
All right.
All right, so Mongoose, that's it. It feels like it was yesterday when we started this cast. At least for me it was. So, all right, well, we're all done. This is it. This is the end of the regular season. Anything, you know, as a board member yourself, anything that you want to remind people about coming up here before we get things wrapped up?
Well, if you're one of these teams who played this weekend and you haven't reported your matches, definitely do that. The moderators are generating brackets, and we need to have those results in to do that. We will be doing patron rewards here very soon, so if that's something you're interested in, we do have some merc and some other things. A very cool desktop background that we had commissioned by Alarak of the Storm, which is really, really good. So some good stuff in the Patreon if that's something you're interested in. And that's pretty much it. Enjoy the playoffs. They're always a blast. There's always some upsets and plenty of great games, so looking forward to that.
And where can everybody find you if they're looking for some casting and that good stuff?
We're not going to find a lot of casting, but twitch.tv mongoose_22. Twitter is the same, _. Hopefully next season, when the newbornness of my household settles in a little bit, I'll be a little bit more consistently around. But if I am around, that's where you find me.
Awesome. I was going to try to show that that wallpaper. I can't. I downloaded. Yes, I won't be.
What if I show it and you can screen share? Can you show my screen share?
Maybe.
Hold on. Maybe. Let's find out.
Because it is really good.
It is.
Oh, you know what? I found it.
Did you find it? There it is.
Oh, there you go. Let me. If I can. I'll have to adjust. I wonder if I could just Drag and drop. Oh, I can drag and drop. Heck yeah. All right.
There
Well,
you
there we go.
All right.
So we'll put this over here. So Mongoose, you can go back to yours.
So the other thing actually, it's a good reminder too, is we actually did a second commission that we're going to be giving out to anybody who donates to the Storm Division prize pool. That
nice.
one is not this one. It looks a little. I don't know if I have that one. I don't even know if I'm allowed to show it.
Oh, yeah, we can hold off on that just to be.
All right, it's really good though. This one is a little more, little less cartoony and a little more gritty, I guess. But it's really, really good too.
Nice.
So if that's the kind of stuff that you like, drop $5-10 on the prize pool and get yourself a cool NGS wallpaper.
Awesome. Well, Mongoose and everybody else, thanks so much for being patient tonight as we had some delays. Really appreciate you stopping by and hope you enjoyed the stream. Once again, thanks everybody. Moist Weenus, Baron, Helidorn. Who else did we have in here a little bit farther back? We had. Sorry, I have to scroll through a lot of Moist Weenus. Jock Daddy Z, Tigerfish, Prosman Pat. Really appreciate you guys supporting the stream. And again, have a wonderful night and the rest of your, I guess, your playoff weeks coming up here. See you again soon.
Good night, guys.